Well, hey. Welcome to your Love Empowerment Hour with Sitting with the Suttons, where we are all about making marriage great again. And we're your hosts, Tristen and CC, and we want to thank you, our KYND listeners, and our Facebook Live viewers for joining us tonight. Tonight, you're in for a treat. We're going to talk about something that a lot of people are like, I don't know about this thing here, but I'm going to tune in so I can see what y'all talking about.
What is they talking about?
We are your one-stop shop for all things related to love, relationships, and business. And we are your love and lifestyle enthusiasts, your foodie socialites, and your small business advocates. We do have a lot going on. We are native Houstonians who absolutely love our city, and because of that, we want to do everything that we can to strengthen it in the marriage community as well as in the business community. So, without further ado, we're going to jump right into this because I know that our Facebookers and our listeners want to hear about this topic, and I'm hoping that they also want to have a little dialogue with us on this topic because there really is not a right or wrong answer when it comes to the perfect spouse. But what we're talking about tonight is there actually is a such thing as a perfect spouse. For real. And when Tristen brought up this topic in the car to me, we were just kind of cruising down the street. And my 6'5", this boy right here. So when he said, CC, we really should talk about this, there is really a such thing as a perfect spouse. And I thought to myself, he thinks I'm a perfect spouse. I do everything so beautifully and I take care of him so well. And then he said, he said, no, not exactly, but you are the perfect spouse for me.
Exactly.
T, what was on your mind when you brought that up?
So, you always hear about these checklists equaling your death wish when it comes to dating and marriage. And people always say that there's no one perfect for me out there. I can't find a perfect person that fits me. But there really is potentially the perfect spouse or significant other for you out there if we can have a paradigm shift and loosen up what we define as perfect. Because we want 6 foot tall, 6-pack, 6 figures. She got to be, an Instagram model selling skinny tea. And if they don't meet that criteria, then they're not perfect. Then we'll kind of push them to the side. So we may be potentially missing our blessing because we're too busy worried about that perfection that we've conjured up in our own mind, and we stick to that.
That's almost unrealistic when you think about it, because who's actually going to meet all these guidelines and qualifications, and you're right, every day we're putting people through these rigorous requirements that are unnecessary.
Absolutely.
That's not really what perfection is all about. I remember when we were dating.
Yeah.
Or before we started dating, I said, I need me somebody that, of course, is tall. That's what every woman starts off with. Let's just be honest. We want him to be taller than us. I'm 5'7", so my requirement or my preference, my desire was for someone to be at least 6 feet. I wanted to be able to wear my cute heels. Now, if I had to wear my flats every now and then, I wouldn't have minded, but that was my preference. He blessed me with that. Big and tall. The other thing was I wanted somebody very broad-shouldered and just have a really nice presence about themselves. Again, we're talking about desires. These are things that what I like to call the cosmetics.
Not necessarily requirements or requisites.
Right. Not necessarily requirements or requisites, but desires. And I think it's really, really important that we understand the difference between the two, because what a lot of us are doing is we're going into this dating game and we're mumbling and jumbling up our requisites with our desires. And in the end, we're coming out on the short end of the stick because we don't know which one is which and which one to negotiate and which one to leave alone.
Yeah. And if we sacrifice too many, we feel like we've settled.
Yes.
On basic things like,
yes.
I wanted someone 6 foot tall or 6-pack, but he's 5'10" and got a little pudge. I settled for my spouse.
Right. And that settle thing, we get that. You hear people say that all the time. I feel like I settled for this and I settled for that. And really, at the end of the day, it's not necessarily just settling just because you don't get all of your desires met. Now, if you don't get your requirements met, is that settling?
No. To look at it as adapting.
Okay.
Not settling, you're adapting.
Okay.
So you're making sure that the situation you're in, you're finding the best fit for you and what you need at that moment.
So, what I find happening quite often is, I come in thinking I know what I want in this perfect guy. And I get it.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, my girlfriend starts to get this guy that kind of looks perfect too. And then I got on social media and I see such and such is doing this for his girlfriend. Such and such has bought his new wife a big home and a nice car. I mean, and then all of a sudden I start to feel like maybe I don't have that perfect
So you
guy.
got the relationship Jones, the love Jones, keeping up with the Joneses.
How often does that happen to you?
Oh, I think, especially with social media now, I mean, how many platforms we got? Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all of the above. People are like, well, he bought her some red bottoms, where my red bottoms? Where's my new Gucci? Not realizing that they probably might be fake. But if you're basing your relationship and love level off of material things, and I think that's a setup for failure.
That's good. That's good. If you're just tuning in with Sitting with the Suttons, we are talking tonight about finding the perfect spouse for you, and not necessarily just the perfect spouse for you, but there is really such a thing as a perfect spouse. A lot of people think, nah, you know, there's no such thing as a perfect person, and that's true. But we're going to talk about later on tonight the formula for that perfect spouse. What exactly does that perfect spouse look like? The recipe, the concoctions, the seasoning. But T, let's talk a little bit about, you know, we came up with some pointers for finding the perfect spouse. And the first one that we said was the perfect spouse is all about your mindset.
Because it's where it starts, right? Because what you want, what you need, is all in your mind. So if you are looking for that perfection, you define what that checklist is. If they are funny, if they're attractive, if they're a certain complexion, if they make a certain income, that is all in your mind. So that's where it starts at.
So the key here is perfection is all in our mindset. It's how we define that perfection to be. It's not how someone else looks at it and says, yes, that's perfect.
It's not what your friend or your mama say. It's what you want. And then it's what you are willing to adapt to and change with. Because, you know what, if you have this template that she's, you know, whatever measurements are popping out, he's 38, 30, 62, whatever, or he's 6-pack and 6 foot, and that's the only thing you're going to look for, that diminishes your talent pool drastically.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where you may start off this big,
Yeah.
by the time you put all of those unnecessary requirements into it, you down about right here, and then you're wondering why you can't find somebody.
Exactly. And it can be reversed. Maybe it's not aesthetic. Maybe it's they have to have a sense of humor. They have to, you know, be early risers, whatever your intrinsic things may be. If you were stuck to that and can't adapt, once again, meaning adapting is not necessarily settling.
That's good. Adapting is not settling.
Adapting,
Ladies, gentlemen,
is not settling.
hashtag that, share that with your friends, because at the end of the day, a lot of us are thinking that we're settling when we don't get all these things, and we're very quick to dismiss.
Absolutely.
Like, not just girls, not just guys. I've seen it all across the boards. People are really, really, really quick to dismiss instead of trying to figure out, you know, is this person actually something that I can work with? You know, we talked about in one of our last segments, potential, knowing how to spot potential. And I think that that's a lost form. A lot of people are thinking, you know, it better come ready-made. Right?
Yeah, you know, it's the microwave generation, right? If I can't just pop it in the microwave or the oven and keep it pushing down the road, then, you know, I don't really have time for that, right? Everything is so instant nowadays that we don't want to see something as a project that I have to work on and develop or grow with.
Grow with.
Grow with.
That's
yes.
good.
So you have to grow with somebody sometimes. Everybody's not perfect. We never claim that we have a perfect marriage, but we are perfect for each other. We've had to grow with each other. We're going to tell some of our interesting, our growth spurts throughout the last decade of happily uninterrupted marriage.
Yeah.
But, you know, for instance, but let's go back to the mindset. You know, how many of my brothers out there, y'all can chime in, back in college, we wanted the bad yellow bone, homegrown, you know, with Becky with the good hair looking woman. That's what we wanted.
He raised his hand.
Vixen.
The producer raised his hand too.
Yeah, we wanted that
Be
skinny
honest.
tea Instagram model, but we ain't have Instagram back in college. But if you look at my wife, those who are listen on radio, tune in to Facebook, and watch. She is a nice caramel macchiato with the natural hair, the puff, not that Becky with the good hair. So I adapted, right? I adapted, because if I spent the rest of my life like, I want this yellow bone with the good hair, and don't be fighting me over good hair.
Come on, because you know it's coming.
It's coming. That if I would have been stuck on that, I would have missed my blessing of CC, because obviously she's not caramel macchiato. She's very beautiful, but she's not an Instagram model. What we're used to is skinny tea.
Clean it up, Reverend. Clean it up.
I'm trying to get home tonight. So, but I say all that to say is, you know, she was not what I preferred or what I desired, but she's what I needed and truly wanted based on her intrinsic characteristics. And things
That's
of that
good.
nature.
That's so good. So what we have to do is again, we have to have our desires, and that is fine. But then we have to be prayed up and ask God, now, Lord, you know exactly what I need. For real, for real. I'm playing around and telling you all these cute things that I want, but you really know exactly what it is that I need, the requirements. So if you can just help me merge the two, Jesus.
Yes, bring them together.
If you can bring them together.
Make the two become one.
Come on. That's what we're looking for. The second pointer we have here, what you require should be more important than what you desire.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, your requirements should be those baselines. Are they honest? Do they believe in God? Are they going to respect you and not cheat on you? Those should be your baselines. Not, oh, what kind of car do they drive? What kind of income do they make?
Right.
You know, what's their fashion like? All the little intrinsic things that may be important in some aspect, but what are the core values that need to be there before you grow and build together?
Right. I don't know if many people are asking that question right now, T. What do you think?
I don't think so.
I think people are just looking at exterior and being like, all right, let's roll. You know, you got all your teeth. Got your legs. Let's
got
go.
your real into
Yeah. Yeah, but what you should be doing here is you should be looking for the required things and trumping those when it comes to your desires, because, you know, desires come and go and all that stuff, but what you require is truly the foundation to your relationship.
Absolutely.
Okay? Number 3, this one's going to require a little discipline here. You got to curb your desires sometimes.
Yeah. You know, ladies and gentlemen, like you curb that person in the club or at the bar, curb those desires. So, you know, I'm on a weight loss regimen right now. Shout out to my trainer, Georgia Diggs, Dig Deep Fitness.
Dig deep?
I want some cookies. I want some nachos. I want some fried shrimp. But I have to curb my desire to meet my goals, to get to where I want to be in life. And sometimes you have to, those desires may not be what you need right now. You know, you may want that physically fit person. We can tell the story about our friend that said they won't date anybody that unless they had like 4% body fat. They had to be like a fit life.
People are for real. We're not making this up. I had a girlfriend that was like, you know, at this age, I don't see why I can't get a man that has a six-pack, so I'm not settling for anything else than a six-pack. And I'm like, you just took this whole big community and you just brought it on in.
Sometimes, ladies, the blessing's in the belly. Sometimes, hashtag, the blessing may be in the belly. You know, you can't just shun a brother. That means that God has anointed him.
Moving on to point number 4. So again, point number 3, curb your desires, ladies and gentlemen.
Or curve them.
Or curve them a little bit, or curve them. Number 4, accepting what's best for you is not necessarily settling, and we talked about that a little bit a while ago. Just because you're accepting what's best, or maybe not, it's not looking exactly the way you thought it should look like, it's not settling.
No, like I said earlier, kind of overlap, it's adapting. So sometimes, you know, you may want to have that convertible with the 22-inch rims with the 400 horsepower and a nice supple leather. But you know what? Maybe at your point in time, maybe that 4-door sedan with a panoramic sunroof might be the best fit for you with the 20s on it. And then you can grow into something like that later. You want to invest in something that's called an asset, not a depreciating asset.
That's good. That's so good. I like how your analogies are with cars, and it makes so much sense. And then lastly here, point number 5. This is my favorite, and you know it came from me. Get the foundation right, because you can apply the cosmetics later. And here's what I mean by that. Ladies, you know that if you don't spend that good money on that foundation, and it get to slipping and sliding, everything that you put on top of it is going to get to slipping and sliding too.
So I hear you right now, all that contouring magic can be for naught if you don't get that foundation right. All that MAC and them pastels can be washed away.
This man knows too much. He's been watching me do makeup a little bit too long. But yes, you're absolutely right.
Magic or sorcery.
He calls it sorcery because some women, when they take it off, well,
it is not the same.
It's not the same. It's not the same. But get that foundation right, and you can apply the cosmetics later. We are talking tonight about there is a such thing as a perfect spouse. I want you to stick around because in a little bit we're going to be sharing that secret formula to having the perfect spouse. Please like, share, and follow Tristen and CC on Facebook and Instagram, and we'd love to hear from you tonight. So call us at 832-230-5592. We will be right back.
Share the recipe, and it don't include Tony Satcheries.
All right, we're gonna
thank you for tuning in.
Check out Use something that the males can relate to. Building a house. You can't build a house on a foundation. Use something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's good. Okay, we're going to give shout-outs to everyone when we come back.
Authorities have arrested a Central Texas couple on allegations they
break.
kept their adopted son in a wooden shack.
I love when these references to rugby.
You
said what? I love when these references to rugby that you say.
And pretty girls like trapping.
Girls like Suzanne said they were arrested Friday on charges that include child abandonment. The boy allegedly had no air conditioning and limited food.
We're on a 2-minute commercial break right now. We'll be coming back live. Tristen CC on Facebook if you want to watch it there. As well as KYND Radio, 1520 AM.
Batch of meth in Houston has been confirmed as the opioid. Authorities say only a 20 microgram dose could be lethal. A Texas death row inmate determined to be mentally impaired will now be spared from capital punishment. A state judge resentenced Robert Campbell to life in prison Tuesday for the abduction and killing of a woman 26
Do
years
y'all
ago.
want to check this? Because I don't know if that.
Let me see my camera. My phone.
Let's see if he's doing the invite.
On 1520 KYND.
Guys don't really talk about antiperspirant. Despite that, 91% of Dove Men Plus Care users recommend it. Here's what
So
they
if we go
said.
to K1,
Share, there we go. Invites.
Desperation.
show him how to get to that invite so he can just press them. Show him how to do it for mine too.
So we already set up. Now you just got to go through and just invite. It's a pretty tedious task.
Not the worst thing at the gym. It's kind of like
25 seconds.
Invite.
Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant. Tough on sweat, not on skin.
Use it all the time, like your email every 10 seconds, or your ex's Instagram. But what about checking something as important as your
How
credit?
do you get that
Well,
rolled up
Discover
like
makes it
You gotta
quick,
click on the
easy, and best of all, free.
On the loud.
Discover is now offering FICO credit scores to
To Sugarland, on the air, everywhere, everywhere. The powerful 1520.
Hey, welcome back to your Love Empowerment Hour with Sitting with the Suttons. We are having some really good dialogue tonight. I want you to like, share, and follow us on Facebook. Please share this video. Someone needs to hear the good news tonight because they're sitting up here thinking that they're choosing the right person for themselves and they just have no idea. They need the secrets to getting to the perfect spouse for them. I'm telling you. We do have the recipe, and tonight, before we go any further, we need to do a little quick roll call.
Indeed.
Show some love to our Facebook livers.
Shout out to Chris White. On Facebook Live, gave a comment to sort of quote Kanye, my formula when looking for my other half, where she may not be number one in all things, but she is in my top 3 in everything that I need. What the hell? I think that'll preach.
I like that. Yes, C. White. Who else we have on?
Top three. We got Miss Tanya Kasi White, the health coach. Hey y'all, saying what's up. We even got Miss Mary Sears, who said back in the day she might have been guilty of seeking perfection in the past.
All right. And that's okay.
He might still be out there.
He might still be out there. And you know what's important is that you realize, hey, I could have done things a little bit differently, and then go and do them differently. Nothing wrong with that. Did I see Jimmy Owens somewhere on there?
I think I saw Jay on there somewhere.
That he joined the group? Jimmy Owens, I need for you to call in tonight. Tonight's show night, 832-230-5592. I know you have something to say on this topic. I know for sure, for sure.
Jimmy likes perfection.
But again, earlier we were talking about the 5 pointers for finding the perfect spouse. And the first thing that we said was the perfect spouse is all about your mindset. Secondly, we said what you require should be more important than what you desire. Number 3, every now and then you got to curb your desires or curve your desires. Number 4, accepting what's best for you is not necessarily settling. I like that one. I think that's liberating for some people. And then number 5, get the foundation right. You can apply the cosmetics later.
Man, it's just like building a house. You have to have that foundation right because those bricks you put on there, that lumber, if that foundation starts to shift, then it all comes tumbling down. So you got to make sure that foundation is right. She may look good on the ground, but how's she doing at home?
That's real.
How's she doing supporting you when you want to start your own business?
That's
when
real.
things get rough at work.
And if I recall correctly, like when contractors are building these buildings, they spend the most time on the foundation, right?
Time and money.
The most time and money.
The most time and money because it's the cornerstone. It's what everything is built on. So you can spend all this money on shingles and flooring, but if it gets cracked, then everything's whack.
Yeah, everything else falls from there. So, as you know, we like to go out there and see, what is the World Wide Web saying about this topic at hand.
Sudden stats.
With Sudden Stats. Lead us on into it, T.
All right, so today's Sudden Stats, we got a few to share with you. Number 1, if you wait until you're 23 to commit, you're less likely to get divorced. 2014 University of North Carolina at Greensboro study found American women who cohabitate or get married at the age of 18 have a 60% divorce rate. But women who wait until 23 or older to make those kind of commitments have a divorce rate around 30%.
That's not rocket science. I think that, we always say how guys, mature a little bit slower than ladies, but even at age 18, ladies, we be on some foolishness. We be on some foolishness probably pretty much all the way up to 23. Don't be like that. But, the younger your mind is, the less experienced you are with things, it makes sense. The more probability things aren't going to work out. Now, there are some anomalies out there. We're not knocking those who went ahead and got married younger, because a lot of great relationships have lasted through that. But typically, it's not going to work.
That's what research shows. The happiest, tip number 2, or for stat number 2, the happiest marriages are between best friends. We always hear that. A 2014 National Bureau of Economic Research study found that marriages do indeed succeed when they're less likely to be stressed because they are mainly based on friendship.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's funny because when we first met each other, we didn't start dating until after college?
Yeah, absolutely.
We were friends.
You were ignoring me for a little bit,
I
but we
did.
became friends.
Yes, God is able.
Then I got chose.
And then you got chose. But it's important that you establish that friendship. Ladies, when you're out there, gentlemen, when you're out there, let's switch up the game a little bit and let's start looking for a friend. Let's just give it a try. Let's start looking for a good friend. Somebody we can go to the movies with, somebody we can just kind of chill with.
Not someone you can just eat for free off of.
Right. And then what I want you to do too is I want you to think back in your archive of these people who you just saying, oh, that's just my friend. We just best friends. I mean, look at the qualities that person represents. I mean,
That may be your perfect spouse.
That might just be. While you pushing him to the side and saying, that's my play brother, oh my goodness. You just never know. Take the time to really get to know someone and like them. Because I'm going to tell you, once you get married, you really need to like that person.
Sometimes that you go from like to love, and then it goes back to like, because you stop loving them.
And sometimes dislike.
Yeah, dislike. So you got to make sure that you have that friendship. That's the foundation. And
Absolutely.
also, make sure God's in there. Make sure you have that friendship, because when times get tough, you can stick with your friends, but if you don't like somebody, then it's going to be hard to go and endure that.
That's so true. That's so true. Marriage it can be a lot of fun, but it's even more fun and more rewarding when it's with someone that you like versus just someone you were infatuated with or wanted something from, or these things we do. What's our third stat?
Third stat is, if you get excited for your partner's good news, you have a better relationship. So if you support one another, give me 5. Boom. If you support one another and make sure that you're helping them with their success, then the relationship will have better just chemistry, better overall value, and be more appreciated by each other. For instance, you are a competitive two-stepper. So whether you win or lose, what happened last competition you went to? What happened waiting for you when you was there?
I always have a beautiful bouquet of flowers waiting for me when I get home. And I don't know why it's still a nice surprise every time I get home, but it's so sweet. And whether I win, lose, or draw, T always has a nice bouquet of flowers waiting for me. When he very well could be. There are some couples out there that unfortunately have a competitive nature in their relationship.
The other one outshine them.
That's sad, but it happens a lot. And instead of encouraging the other one to go for it, do your best, do what you can, they kind of get this half, support, maybe none at all.
I don't do your little thing over there.
Yeah, or condescending, talking about it. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is. And now you can speak on the men, but it's so important that we as women know that you support our dreams and our endeavors outside of what happens within this marriage.
Because God created you all as our helpmate, but also we have to reciprocate that.
Yeah.
Because we have to support you in your endeavors, because you can't just be sowing straight into us. We have to sow back into our women too.
Yeah.
But
Amen.
either way, if CC goes out there and competes, she's going to get a trophy when she comes.
Amen and amen.
Right now.
What's our next one?
Our next point is, eventually you will realize that you're not just one person in this relationship. So a lot of people go into marriage relationships still thinking about themselves, thinking about how can I make myself happy, what do I want, and how can this entity make sure I win and get the best out of everything. So once you start living together, you may realize that you have different priorities and tolerances. Like, for instance, what does one constitute as a mess? Maybe me leaving my clothes at the edge of the bed is not a bad thing to me, but it may drive you up a the wall.
KYND in Facebook, because we're going to have a Keep It Real moment. Where's my Keep It 100? Where is the 100? Okay, well, it's somewhere. But anyway, we're going to keep it 100 real quick and share with you all that Tristen and I are both only children. We both came from single-parent homes, and if you know anything about only children, we're always told, for the most part, we're right about everything, There's no one to really counteract it. So when you first...
So when it comes to sex, S-E-X, quality is more important than quantity. Say that with me, everybody.
Quality is more important than quantity. Now, we really need to speak on this one.
Yeah, so Carnegie Mellon did a study on the link between how often you have sex with your partner and how happy you are. They split a bunch of married couples into two groups, and for 90 days, one group would have their normal sex schedule. Then the other half would have sex twice as often. When the researchers measured how each group felt at the end of the experiment, the group that doubled their sex frequency was in fact slightly less happy.
Wow.
Quality.
Most people probably don't realize that, because I know for a lot of people, it's not necessarily the Sutton situation, but, when you first dated, you going at it, like, what?
Right.
And everybody thinking that's the way it's going to be from here on out. And then you get married, and you start having children, and you trying to figure out what the heck happened. And you're sitting there thinking to yourself, what's wrong with us? Every time we look at the movies, everybody going at it, and they're going at it all night.
Tell y'all something, these love R&B songs got y'all fooled. I don't know what they doing for an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? We might have game 2.
We keeping it 100 tonight, I'm telling you. So if you're sitting there and you holding your spouse hostage trying to figure out why y'all not getting it in every single night, and she's sitting up here trying to raise children, have a job, and make sure that she's being right by you, you got to be real. And you got to understand that at the end of the day, it is about quality over quantity. Please take out that whole notion that it has to be for a certain length of time and so many times a week, because it really doesn't have to be. It's about what the perfection looks like in your marriage. What works for your marriage?
Absolutely.
Amen.
Get your technique right. You don't have to worry about it for an hour and a half.
Lord have
That's a whole
mercy.
nother story.
We encourage you to like, share, and follow us on Tristen and CC. We have real dialogue around here, and that's what it's about. We are trying to make marriage great again by setting our community free from some of these notions and, I don't know, voodoo tricks, whatever it is that we got set on our minds.
Just stagnant mentalities that they have to be what's in my mind, what my friends want, what my mama wants, etc., my daddy wants, and what my boys like. And it doesn't have to be that way. Find what's best for you, not what society says is right.
That's right. We encourage you to call us in 832-230-5592. We want to hear from you. We want to hear about your perfect spouse. What is your ideal perfect spouse? It's different for everybody. But in a minute here, we're getting ready to share with you that secret formula. That room for having the perfect spouse. I'd like to give a quick shout out. Hey, Avery Tate, it's good to see you on here. Miss Dinetta Chargois. We have John Berryman. Looks like that's your fellow Aggie.
Taylor, talking about she's the only married to an only. We're going to pray for you and her.
Lolita Dixon, it's good to see you tuning in with us. Our brother Carl Mays, King the Motivator. It's good to have you, bro. Thanks so much. Melissa Abram, Candace Washington, Yolanda.
Y'all tune in to Facebook and make sure y'all put some comments on there we can address if
Yeah.
you want to call in.
Please do. Miss Dinetta says she's never too old to learn some new things, so I don't blame you right there. I'm glad you tuned in with us. Avery said he married his best friend, and Allison is such a sweet lady. You definitely did that, Avery.
Lori Brett said, I'm not married, but you guys helping me to learn and take great advice. That we are blessed to be a blessing, so this is our ministry for the community to show that black marriage and black love does exist and can be real. And it's not perfect, but it's perfect for us.
That's it. Well, in a minute here, when we come back from our commercial break, we will be sharing with you the secret formula to having
And
a perfect
speaking of
spouse.
sharing, everyone on Facebook, do us a favor, click that share button right now. All of
Yes,
you.
right now.
50
Go.
of y'all logged in watching right now. So all y'all share it right now, please. Do it for Suge Sutton.
Do it for Suge. We'll be right back here in a minute, sitting with the Suttons. So, I know what I want. You should know what you want. Let's go.
Yeah.
And like he says, it's ruined before it even begins.
Yeah, the foundation.
Because of the foundation. And it's kind of like he said, who are you to want to get in a relationship? You don't know me.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about my background. You haven't even taken the time to get to know me. So how do you know that you want to be with me? And that's one of the first key indicators. If someone's trying to jump in with you and get married, usually they're probably looking at the cosmetics, what you have, what you can offer, that you can dance well, like in Jay's case. I mean, we got to stop doing that. We really need to take the time to get to know people, because normally during that time when you're taking the time to get to know that person, you can pretty much save yourself from a lot of heartache and divorces and all that stuff. You do.
You date someone's mask or their representative. Usually the first was it's 90 days, and then after that 90-day period, that's when you really get to find out who they really are.
That's why Uncle Steve said, wait the 90 days,
Yes,
didn't he?
don't give them the promised land. Let them wander.
Just a little bit for the 90 days while you figure it out. But I really appreciate Jay bringing up that point, because again, it happens a lot. I don't know if it happens so much on the male end. I don't hear males trying to rush into marriage like that.
Nah, there's not too many. But now, some of us, like myself and a couple of my friends, we only dated for the purpose of marriage. It wasn't just, let me just go have some fun, willy-nilly. Everyone I approached had to at least have some essence of wifey potential.
Right. That's good.
But there's a lot of wolves out there, so you gotta be careful.
Be careful. Here, Toni Martin Cunningham made a really good point that I think we should touch on here. She said determining each other's love language is super important, and she's absolutely right. That's something that usually people aren't even thinking about in the dating phase. A lot of people don't even know what the love languages are. But there are 5 love languages, and Lord help me if I can remember all of them. One of them is touch.
Yes, indeed.
One of them is acts of service. The other one is words of affirmation. The other one is acts of service.
Acts of service.
Acts of service. There's one more that's on there. Touch. That's your favorite. Come on, touch. But I'm glad she brought that up, because when you're seeking this perfect spouse, in your mind, if the perfect spouse is big on touch and giving you that, then that's what you're going to be looking for. If words of affirmation, like for me, if that's really important, you need someone that is going to cheer you on every now and then. Oh, acts of service is actually mine. Come on. It's important. There's a really good book out there. It's called The 5 Love Languages, and I encourage you, even in singlehood, read that book so you can understand what your love language is. You may think it's one thing, but it turns out to be a completely different thing. Like, I would have thought that mine was truly words of affirmation, like first and foremost. But mine is acts of service. So there's nothing like Tristen coming in and changing an air filter without me prompting him. It's something sexy about him doing it. I don't know what it is. But it's just doing those things to show that you care about me, our home. That's important to me. What about yours?
So mine is touch, of course. What do you do when I first come home? I don't keep it real.
When T comes home, turn around so we can see that. So when he comes home, this is what I do. I just rub him from the head all the way down to the back. Put your children away for one quick second. That is what I do, because I know that at the end of the day, when this man comes home, he's carrying all of this stuff. It's all pinned up. He probably didn't even know that he has it. Until I touch him and release that. It is something about touch that is really, really important for him. Whatever your love language is, after you've read this book, and they even have a little questionnaire, I like it, that helps you to determine what your love language is. I encourage you to take that test.
Candace Washington said there's a 5 love languages for singles too. So
ooh, what a treat. What a treat. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that, Candace. But yes, when it comes to getting that perfect spouse, it's important to know that as well. Those love languages. So,
let's go to the recipe. Let's give them the formula. Pyrex, baking soda, I don't know the recipe. So, Sutton say, here's the formula for having a perfect spouse. Number 1, relationship with God. As we said a few episodes ago, that relationship with God is that common thread that keeps all the fabric in the relationship sewn together.
That's right.
It keeps it tight when the world comes against it.
That's right. And it's important to understand that we're talking about relationship, not religion here, not going to church every Wednesday, Sunday, and all that stuff. That's great if you do that.
It's for single and married.
For single and married, but it's actually having that pure relationship with God where you can see it's quite evident that this person has a relationship with God.
Absolutely. They got to at least go to church at least once a week. No, I'm just playing up. Requisites on that.
There's no requisites at all. No requisites.
Your pastor might say something different.
Number 2,
character. So once again, we're talking about the formula for a perfect spouse, the foundation. They have to have character. You got to make sure that they're going to have honesty, integrity, treat you right, respect you, not do anything that harm you or the relationship.
That's
having
right.
character.
And character goes a long, long way. When we're talking about character, we're talking about loyalty. We're talking about stability. We're talking about his work ethic, her work ethic. If every time you look up, every other month, she got a new job, he got a new job, that might be an issue with that. Character goes a very, very, very long way in a relationship. It supersedes just your relationship. It's about how does he act with the waitress? When she comes up, is he condescending? You know, I mean, it's very, very important that you look at all these things and don't think that anything is too small when you're looking at character.
Keep keep your eyes on it all. Stay woke.
Stay woke.
Stay woke.
Number 3.
Number 3, that is this individual actually loves you. So we can fall in like, and then we can fall in love. But sometimes we fall out of love and back into like.
That's so
So
true.
they have to have true love for you because love is what sustains you through the ups and downs. It can be financial, work, personal, loss of family, all of the above. Love is what is the glue that keeps that thread together.
That's right, and it's important to emphasize here, this person doesn't just say I love you all the time and then, shows something differently. We're talking about actions. We're talking about someone who will love you even when you're not so lovable.
Yes.
That's important.
Because there are moments.
There are moments. There are moments. So watch how he acts with you, while you're dating. If he blows up and he gets all mad and he goes punching walls, or she gets an attitude and she stopped talking to you for the rest of the month,
Yeah.
that's a sign.
That is a sign.
Pay attention to these signs when you're dating. Number 4.
Number 4, they respect your family.
That's
I
right.
ain't say they gotta like your family and love your family, but they gotta at least respect them.
That's
They gotta
right.
at least say yes ma'am to mama, yes sir to daddy. Y'all gonna be having around each other for Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays. They gotta at least have some type of respect because it can be really rough if you don't like them, they don't like you, and there's just a lot of disrespect going on.
That's right. And you know what? This even goes with those of us who may have a blended family. When you marry someone, you are marrying them and the in-laws. It's real. Do not think that you can just remove that person from the other situation or from that family. I mean, you're taking the entire package, and it's very important that you understand that before jumping the broom. It's about accepting and respecting that family. And while we're on that, when it comes to a perfect spouse, that spouse is going to have your back before they have their mama's back or grandmama's back or whoever's back,
Because that's what the Bible says, you leave and now become one.
That's right. That's right. You should never feel like you have to go against or challenge or be second fiddle to any of that. This is when we're talking about the perfect spouse recipe, this is what you're looking for.
And on that real quick, if you have trouble at home, relationships, dating, marriage, don't go run into your family. Because guess what happens? Now they have this negative connotation of the other person.
Yes.
And anytime they see them, all they can think about is the last bad thing that you snitched on them about.
Ladies, you know how this goes. You go and tell your mama he did this and he made me upset. And then 5 seconds later, you're going to make up with him. But even though you made up with him, mama ain't made up with him. And mama probably will never make up with him.
No, not my baby.
So it's really important that whatever goes on in that home, it stays in that home. Very important. Number 5.
Encourages you to grow and supports you. So what that means is myriad of things. If someone has a passion for a hobby, starting their own business, wants to just start their own blog, be sure that you're supportive of that individual as they grow, because you don't want to be the only one that shines in a relationship. 2 stars together shine brighter than just one. So when people come into a relationship, they have their own goals and dreams, and sometimes they suppress them to support the other, but you also got to reciprocate that. Tell them about this.
When we first got married, it was about investing in Tristen's vision. And the Bible will tell you, the man comes with the vision. The woman needs to be able to come on board as a helpmate. She may have her vision too, don't get me wrong. She's not going to be visionless. But the first priority is to make sure that this man's vision is seen all the way through. So I knew that as a wife, that was my primary goal. He wanted to start his own business. He wanted to do well in the insurance industry. So we were going to do everything that we could to make sure that he was supported in that. Then as he, grew his wings and got his anchor locked down, somehow it just became my turn. I wasn't even looking for my turn. Oh, me, Jesus, my turn. No, it really didn't happen that way. It just started to evolve. And as it did, he evolved with me. So I cannot tell you how important it is that if you have a spouse that is pouring everything that they have into you, when it becomes their turn, I can't tell you how important it is for you to reciprocate that.
Can we keep it 100?
Keep it 100.
So, at one point, I used to joke with her and say that CC got tired of being known as Tristen's wife. She wanted to be CC. So, CC started doing blogging, dancing, doing a lot of things in the community to get her name out. And so, instead of being a jealous husband, I supported her. I coached her on how to brand her business, how to brand her jewelry business, how to market herself. So, and encouraged her to go dancing and get that release, that hobby that she's passionate about. So sometimes your significant other may be tired of being known as such and such spouse, or it's just, John's wife, or, Mary's husband. So you have to support them as long as their goals and their dreams align with the family's goals.
And let the record show that I absolutely love being this man's wife. I really did not have an issue with being known as Tristan's wife, but it would be nice to be known as CC every now and then. So God was good when he brought that into pass. And then the last one here.
Believes in we happy, not me happy. Everybody say that with me.
Believes
in we happy, not me happy.
Not
That's a hashtag.
That's good.
Hashtag we happy, not me happy.
That's good.
Because many of us go in, we're single, right? So I'm all about me. I'm all about making sure I'm happy, I'm taking care of myself. Then we get together, relationship, marriage. Well, what do you mean I gotta not do this because that's what makes you happy? I'm used to doing it my way, or I want everything my way. So you're just gonna have to get on the train and get online and do things my way because I want to be happy first. So tell them about that.
In marriage, it has no space for selfishness. That's the bottom line. If you're a selfish person, it's going to be a long, long, long road for you in marriage. You literally have to lay your desires to the side while you examine what is best for the relationship. And then as you all agree with what's best for the both of you all, then you can merge in, okay, well, we can cater to you a little bit over here, and we can cater to me over here a little bit. But at the end of the day, selfishness has no place in it. If you are always looking out for his best interest and he's always looking out for your best interest, trust me, no one will go lacking.
Until selfishness starts playing rent or taxes, don't allow them in your house.
That's good. You better say that. That's good. I like that. I like that. Well, that is our 7 pointers for the formula to having a perfect spouse. So now you know a perfect spouse can exist. And let me tell you, as long as that person lines up with these 7 things right here, everything else is cosmetics, and you can work those things out. So I don't want to hear no more about, well, he don't do this, he don't do that, so I'm out. If he lines up or she lines up with these 7 criteria, you got something to work with.
That's your foundation.
That's your
That's
foundation.
your base. You need contour, put MAC and all that on top of it.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break here, and then we're going to come back and wrap up things with Suttons in the City. Please like, share, and follow Tristen and CC on Facebook and Instagram.
Hashtag we happy, not me happy, and share this video, please.
We'll be right back. And I hope by now you now understand why we say that there is a perfect spouse, because it's all about what you desire and what you require. And just before we went to commercial break, we shared the formula to having a perfect spouse. The first one was having a relationship with God. The second, character. The third one, this person loves you and shows that. Number 4, this person respects your family. Number 5 and number 6, this person encourages you to grow and supports you in your endeavors. And lastly, this person will believe in we happy, not me happy.
Hashtag that we happy, not me happy.
It's really, really important that you understand that as long as this person has these core fundamental things, everything else is cosmetics. You can build upon this. This is a solid foundation. So if you're in a relationship right now that seems kind of rocky and you just don't know which way to go, examine this and see if that person that you're with measures up against these 7 qualities. And if they do, I encourage you to stick with it and try to make it happen right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're going to wrap up this fun hour that we've had here with Suttons in the City. T, let's talk about what's going on.
Let's wrap it up. So what's going on is 4th of July weekend.
Whoop, whoop.
But it's actually happening on a Tuesday, so it's going to be a little awkward. But where we popping up at is CC Mama House for some barbecue.
Come
So that's
on,
where
Mama.
we're going to pop up at for some ribs and some chicken.
Who else is barbecuing? We might have to swing by your house too
Yeah,
and
if
see
y'all
what you
wanna
got. Some
barbecue, y'all want
desserts.
us to swing by. So y'all want to sit with the Suttons, go ahead and type a message in that Facebook post right there.
But let us know what you're fixing first, because, you know.
Yeah. Don't make the coleslaw in the sink.
It's so silly. What else is going on?
So that's what's going on. I got 4th of July. And then what's going on in this world of the Suttons, we have Sudden Impact Boss Brunch coming up. Excited about that.
Yes,
That's
our quarterly boss
Our quarterly boss brunch. What this is a high-level networking event for entrepreneurs, small business owners to come. And it's not just an event where you just throw cards around you. We have panelists, and this topic of the subject is going to be Here We Grow this time. So we're going to have 2 strong business development coaches out there and consultants helping small business owners give the tips and success and systems to grow their business.
Right. We'll also be on the panel.
We'll also be on the panel talking about how to grow your social media presence and brand. That's going to be July 29th from 12 to 3 at the Aloft Galleria. We're going to post links in the Facebook feed later, but that's going to be a great event. We've had, on average, 50 people come out each time. It's great. And then on August 12th, we have Sudden Impact Branding University, where I teach entrepreneurs, business owners, how to brand themselves using social media and networking events to build their brand that brings business. So we're trying to get some revenue in your dollars using your brand and social media. God's blessed me with the talent and the love for social media and marketing, so I want to share that with you all. People always ask, how did you get so good at marketing? I guess they don't realize or read the About section on Facebook. I have a degree in marketing from Texas A&M, so I kind of my thing. So I love to share that gift with everyone. So y'all check those two out. We'll be posting information on that later.
Nice. So some heavy hitters coming up here for our bosses and for our aspiring bosses. If you are an aspiring entrepreneur, now is the time to get resources and information like this. So once you start your business, you can hit the ground running. So we welcome you to the Boss Brunch as well as to the Sudden Impact Branding University that'll be coming up here in the coming months. And we will be posting that on Tristen and CC's page. So please be sure to like, share, and follow Tristen and CC.
Stay tuned for that.
Well, it has been an incredible hour. I want to thank you all, our Facebook viewers, our KYND listeners, our callers in. We would like to go ahead and wrap up this hour with our affirmation. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Right hand up.
Today I will commit to being a better person than I was yesterday.
Today I will be open and honest with myself.
Today I will be a better communicator.
Today I will rid myself of negative views of dating and marriage. Today I will do my part in making marriage great again. Thanks again for tuning in with Sitting with the Suttons. Please like, share, and follow Tristen and CC. And we'll see you next Wednesday, same place, same time, 7 p.m.
Share this video.